week 5 of 6 weeks of our very compact digital illustration course. Today, I will be going over the bulk of the digital tools and how to use them so that you can move forward in your illustration rendering process. I'm going to give you lots of information. I gave you a lot of information at the Open Studio sessions on Friday. Please go and watch that. You have access to that on the website. I know it might be kind of a pain to go into the website and watch it, so I will go ahead and maybe add another link to the Google Drive so it's easier. I understand how obstacles can make it difficult to do something simple. So I will try and make it easier for you guys to watch that. But today we are going to start off with the amazing Dr. Mira Reisberg. You all know and love her. She is going to be presenting by doing how to create like amazing portfolios. And she's going to be choosing a couple of portfolios from your guys' submissions and talking about.
Yeah, but none of the people who I did are here, which is really frustrating.
Really?
No, little
Who did
buggers.
you do? Maybe they'll show up soon.
Yeah, I did Sarah.
Yeah.
And I also did Destiny.
Okay.
And then I've also created this sheet that I will make pretty and then send to you to give to everyone.
Okay, it doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to be clear. So
okay, well then I'll just upload it in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
And then I'll also send it to you.
Yeah.
But let me get started.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you for doing that, Mira.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So I'm Dr. Mira Reisberg, Director of the Children's Book Academy, and I love helping students, and quite a few of my beautiful students and scholarship winners are here, some of my favorite people. And Anita, you owe me a blog post. You're supposed to go on Monday. So send it to me and we'll have you go next Monday. And you've got people wanting to come in. Okay. So there are, and I'm sorry that I've got notes, but I'm a little out of it from allergies and just working too hard.
You do what you need to do, Mira.
Thank you, Dallin. So there are 3 words that are key to creating a compelling or successful portfolio. And I'm talking primarily of website portfolios, which is how most editors and agents and art directors find you these days. And they all happen to start with C. So I want you to think about the 3 C's. The first one is connection. And that's what you're doing with your portfolio, in that you're connecting with the viewer, which initially is editors and agents and art directors. After that, you'll change your portfolio so that you're primarily connecting with children and teachers and parents to help sell your work. But right now, the focus is on getting hired. So you want to make those connections as effortless and easy and warm and personable as you can, with clear and easy access to web pages, a dedicated clear contact page, and a really lovely welcoming bio photo and description. And I think I'm also doing a Rainier too, if we have time. The second C is consistency, in that you can consistently show your knowledge of craft and creativity in creating original and marketable children's books. Here, you want to show your great sense of organization by having like with like images in generous sized images together efficiently organized into categories where you demonstrate your skill in visual storytelling rather than still portraits. Dazzle viewers with sequential images that show how you can consistently create characters that look the same through multiple images and scenes for a picture book or a graphic novel. Giving yourself guidelines, which is something that Larissa does in all of the open studios, where with a character, she'll draw the shape, and then she'll draw where the eyes are, and then the nose and the mouth, and just follow those guidelines. So maybe your character has, a much bigger forehead and much lower eyes. The traditional is for young kids is halfway down for the middle of the eyes, and then halfway down on that for the bottom of the nose, and then halfway down between the bottom of the nose and the chin for the middle of the mouth. And then the ears go from the middle of your eyes to the bottom of your nose. But those, you can vary that up radically to create your characters. Show that you can do art in different scenes and environments, like on a farm, in an urban city environment, a forest, in an African jungle, in a North American woodland environment, in the desert, the mountains, underwater. Hi, Darwin, I'm in a webinar.
Okay, I sent you an email a while ago saying I'm on vacation.
Okay, I forgot. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. In the desert, the mountains, underwater, in a prairie, or even the Australian outback. Think of what an editor or art director or agent might be looking for. Where did children's books take place? And I didn't include outer space. I should have said outer space in there. Yeah, I'll tweak this for you all.
Yeah, my whole book takes place in outer space. So let's don't forget outer space.
No. And the thing is that if they come across you and they see you've got this, great series of outer space pictures, and they're looking for someone to illustrate an outer space book, guess who they're going to go for? Someone that they can see can do outer space scenes. Show scenes with regular animals in the different environments, as well as anthropomorphic animals in human environments. Food scenes and holiday scenes, birthdays and other family scenes, classroom scenes, the playground. Where else might a children's story take place? Play with multiple perspectives, like bird's eye view looking down from above, worm's eye view looking up from below, or just straight on. Use profiles, side view, under the chin, looking down, and 3/4 views for your characters. Being consistent with your characters is really key. The third C is for confidence building, where you want to inspire confidence in those initial gatekeepers by demonstrating that you can create an expensive children's book with skill and originality and follow through, which a critically edited and beautifully organized online portfolio will help you do. Weed out anything that isn't your very, very best, most professional looking work. Less really is more. Two key things to inspire confidence is showing movement, emotion, and interrelationships with characters connecting together and doing things. Show a wide range of emotions, perhaps with a grid image called The Many Faces of Anita. And then it's, you know, pictures of your character Anita looking worried, looking angry, looking happy. You know, you get the gist of it. Looking confused. And so here are some website suggestions. Make your images large and keep your backgrounds light and minimal. You want your images to be the focus, not the space around them. Think of it like having a gallery show. Make everything, and be generous with yourself. Be generous with your images. And show that you value your own work. Make everything super clear. If it's not, just put a line of text underneath explaining what's going on. Most editors, agents, and art directors are still working on computers. So give them a menu, an actual menu at the top or on the side, and organize your pages with as few categories as possible, nesting pages if you need to. Don't forget to have that dedicated contact page, or have your contact info as part of your bio page. But I always prefer a dedicated page, which can also be a great opportunity to add a lovely little piece of art. Keep your website clean, clear, minimal, warm, welcoming, generous, and carefully edited. And if possible, have fun with it. So I'm going to show you let's see. Yeah, she didn't show it. Dang. Okay, I'm going to show you. Hi, Irena. And now I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this off. Whoops. And we're going over here. We're going to start with Barbara Botner. And Barbara's done about 50 books, and she's extraordinary. And look at how few, and look at how they're nested. She's got all the books, well, the ones she's highlighting, nested under here. And then here she's got this really engaging loop. So it's either a GIF or it's a small animation. I'm not sure, or a little movie. I'm not sure. It's probably a GIF. And I'm sure that why it's not sure why it's not moving, but it was. Let's do it again.
Mm.
It was working. Oh, here we go. But talk about, you know, hooking your viewer in with originality and how cool that is. Okay. And then she's, you know, let's go to all books. And she's doing fun things with her banners. Unfortunately, they're not consistent, but at this point, she can do whatever she likes. Okay. So her previous website was better than this, but that's okay. And then here's her dedicated contact, and she uses this opportunity to add a fun little piece of art. Now imagine this page if it was all white, if it wasn't peach behind here, and how the little mouse wouldn't be boxed in, this wouldn't be boxed in. It would look a lot better, but I do like the peach. But I really, 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 really prefer white backgrounds. So here's Chantal and Bergen, and look how generous they are with themselves. They've given themselves a huge inviting image. I'm not sure what they built their website in, But this is like a gallery where you click on the image and then it turns into a clickable website. These are books that I edited and art directed. But look how generous these images are. Here's what sucks. It's not great navigation because how do we get back to where we were? I see, we just scroll to the top. Okay, so we've got illustrations. They should have another one that's called books, and that when you click on it, there's links to purchase the books. So Anita, I know your first one's coming out soon. So always have a way for people to buy your books. I love Chantal and Bergen.
Yeah, they're great.
They are. Okay, and then here's our about. Okay, so what they've done here, which is okay, but it's not great, is they've got what's known as one really, really long page, and then they've got named anchors. So when you click on the link, it scrolls down to there. But that's less elegant than having separate pages. And then here they've got a contact form. They've got all their social media links, and then they've got their email. Let's just check one of them. And here they are. And they should have a much, much higher likes and following. Oh, I need to go there. Okay, and here's someone I actually edited her. I worked with her on her portfolio, and shortly after she signed her first contract. And it's a really nice one. So she's doing like a pun on her name, Cherry, a beautiful white background, really clean, really clear, generous big images that when you roll over them, shows the prizes that she's won, gives descriptions. They're beautiful illustrations, side by side, fine, they work well together. They've got, you know, they're like with like. And before she had these rinky-dink little boxy images. And yeah, not doing anyone any favors with those teeny images. And even 3 across works.
These are really great.
Showing the character holding the art. It's pretty wonderful, isn't it?
It's so cute.
And you want to, you know, if you've got a page like this, it's a long page, which is totally fine. And then look how beautiful and minimal these icons are. All one color, warm. And then back to top, which is also what's known as a named anchor. So whatever kind of web host you have, like I do, my websites are all in Weebly because they're so easy to do. Okay, oops, black and white. And she had a sketchbook and I got her to get rid of it because she's got an abundance of great images. And here she's showing character sketches with different emotions, different characters.
Those are all great designs.
Yeah, she's going to do really well. I'm really thrilled for her. Oh no, she did keep the sketches. That's okay. She's only got, but she doesn't have contact here. Grr. She's got these rinky dink little things here. And she's also got contact on her about page, I think. Yeah, here it is, and that's fine. Okay, and so first up is Sarah Steinberg, who's a former student. And as these guys here who are former students know, I will do anything I can to help my former students. So I'm suggesting to her that she extend the little bits of foliage.
Here she comes, right on time. It's almost like she knew.
Well done, Sarah. You made it just in time. So this is really lovely. I'm not crazy of the little pig nose. I'd love to see a much cuter nose on this character. And I'd also like to encourage you to extend the greenery and maybe even the slime across to where it's Kidlit portfolio and closer to the end of blog. So it's not just this big square above this line here, that there's some kind of cohesiveness to it. And I also want to say I'm a big fan of Sarah's work. I love Sarah's art, and it has changed so much in the few years that I've known her, because she's done the work. She's taken lots of classes. She's listened to criticism and not taken it personally, and done whatever she can. So, usually when you, here we go. It should take us, home takes us to, here we go. This is a little confusing. You've got two of these Kidlit illustration portfolio pages. And so when we please visit Children's Illustrations, it takes us to the same place, unless I'm mistaken. And Larissa, can you monitor the chat in case
Yeah.
I'm missing anything important?
Yeah,
You're
no
all
problem.
good. I'm just chatting with people, but I will let you know if any questions come up.
Thank you. So I would just get rid of this line here. Now, in terms of the portfolio itself, I really, 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 really want to encourage you to have like with like. So have this image here, too colorful, right next to, sorry, my computer's lagging a little. Where is it? Have I missed it? Oh, dang. There's another one. Another two. Too colorful. Where did that go?
Is it the same? Is it the same color scheme we're looking for, or is it the
Yeah,
same?
no, it's from the same book.
Okay.
And it was here. That's very weird. You know, you've got too messy.
Mira, on the other page, the other page that has the children's books, it has the books, the
Okay,
book projects together, and that's, I think, what you're looking for. So the
So there
children's
are
illustrations one.
they are different. The
Yeah,
Kidlit-
they are different.
Okay,
And what I'm trying to do, I haven't figured out how to do it properly yet, is to have a page that has kind of general illustrations, and then a page that has book projects grouped by books that I have like dummies and proposals for.
Okay. What I would do for now, yeah, this is really confusing. I would just have one glorious image here and with a series of links underneath. And Larissa, give me a warning when I'm up to 15 minutes, when I've only got 15 minutes left.
Okay.
And I might start with let's go to the children's illustration, because that's the main place you want to get work right now, correct?
So wait, when you click on that link, does it go anywhere? Or does it
It
just stay in that link?
should. This is still kind of a work in progress. I was messing with it last week, so I might have messed it up.
You did,
Yeah,
Um,
you might have
it
killed the
should-
link on that one.
because I
There
looked,
should be another page. If you go up under Kidlit portfolio and then go to children's books, I think it is, there should be,
there's picture books. So let's go.
yeah, just like ones that I've got dummies for. Yeah, so, yeah,
Okay.
yes. So yes, I know that that's confusing and I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet,
Yeah.
but,
Okay, so
um,
for your homepage, I would have one glorious image. And you know, this is pretty lovely. Or let's get out of here. Make a threesome. Oh, is this the same book? Found You
Mhm.
Too Colorful and Too Messy? Larissa? I mean, Sarah?
Yeah, that looks like it.
yes, it's the same book.
Okay, I would pull Found You and put these three together. I mean, these two,
Okay.
the double spread and Too Colorful, and have that both in picture books
Okay.
and also on your home page.
Okay.
Or there might be another one that might be, let's see.
Somebody was asking Sarah, what are you using to make your website? Oh, there it is, WordPress.
This
Okay.
is WordPress. Yeah, I used to develop for it professionally for a few years, so I have a little bit more technical ability and patience than many people do.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you actually know
Yeah,
a little bit
it's
about.
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's not. It's good if you like to be able to like mess with the code, but if you don't like to do code, then probably don't do it.
Yeah, I was curious on that because I was like, this doesn't look like a cookie cutter kind of
Yeah. Hey, you guys,
Totally.
I have really limited time and I want to do as much as I can.
Yeah,
So maybe save those questions. So like with like, and you know what I would do? I would have Kidlit portfolio : picture books. And then to the right of that, have Kidlit portfolio : graphic novels, and have that be a link. And also have click here to see my at the bottom. Click here to see my graphic novel work. Click here to see my house portraits. I did have a handout that I'll be sending all of you with all the things that you want to strive to have in your portfolio. So, and this is such a drag that you changed this, Sarah, because I had my notes all written out according to what you had.
I'm
So
sorry, Mira. I was messing with it last week. I know.
after I wrote pages and pages of notes, but anyway, there it is. Put the two elephant pictures together. This actually goes with another gnome picture. You know, put them together. These go in the graphic novel section. I would pull this because it's not your strongest work. I know you love it, but I would, you know, pull this out. I would, or put it in the other art, put this in other art, put chapter 1 in the graphic novel section, put this elephants, this one, with this one, or have this be one big one, or have, sorry, have the one below this one, have it take up a full space, and then maybe, I know the verticality is really important, but maybe cut this in two and have them side by side underneath. Just a suggestion, try it out.
That one wouldn't work for that image because it's literally, there's like something happening
Upside
on the
down,
top and in the
yeah.
bottom
Then
that are
keep,
connected.
then keep it. It's just going to take up a lot of space. This is lovely. I'd keep this. These go in graphic novels. I would put this, oh good, you've got another. So put this one here, side by side with this. No, that's the one you're going to have really big. Sorry. With this. So
Yeah, those would go really great together.
they would go really great together, and they're too colorful and too messy. And I would start with too colorful and then have too messy on the right. These are delightful. Okay.
Mary, you have 10 minutes.
Oh, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, and then here I'd get rid of said Jamie and said Evelina, because they just make it look really boxy and compressed is the wrong word, but busy. And you don't need them because, you know, the characters, you don't need attributions so much with graphic novels. So just, you know, like with like, you know, and then pull out. I think there's another one like this here. I would just lighten this background radically so it goes further back. And so there's more contrast. Okay. So, where is that?
Lots of notes for Sarah, huh? Thank you, Mira.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I made it up here.
Yeah, me too.
Right in time.
Yes. So Destiny, this is good that you've got minimal number of pages. Move this DHH down so you don't have this weird tangent with the top of your sort of blobular graphic. This image at the top is superb. It's really fantastic. And everything else needs to be the same quality. They all need to be as good as this. I think this style with flat color and outlines is really your strength. Don't cut off characters, you know, they look like they've been mutilated here. And there's also some weird racial subtext here that I have no idea what's going on, but to me, it's kind of disturbing, primarily because I don't know what the hell's going on. So don't cut bodies in at the waist or at hands and legs, you know, anywhere there's joints. is a bad place, or the neck. Always have some shoulders in there. And, you know, this is just really very muddy to me. I can't really see her face clearly. What I do see are these fluorescent yellows and then this ultramarine blue, but everything else is a real mishmash, and I have no idea where I'm supposed to look or what's going on. Other than this might be a nightmare image with these little demon characters. So love, I just want to really, and then let me close this. I want to really, really push you, because that's what I do. Get everything, get your work, have a consistent style where it's the same quality as this top image. Because if you could do a consistent portfolio in this style, you would absolutely get work. And I'm usually right with these things. Get rid of borders. They don't serve you. Don't say, I wanted this piece to be really colorful and blah, 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 because that shows that you're a student. You want to show yourself as a professional. The other thing I would encourage you to do is get a font. You know, Sarah has studied architecture, so she's got architect's handwriting. But with this, I would buy yourself a lovely, you know, SF Toons, or look up different graphic novel fonts and put actual fonts in here, because it will help with that other layer of professionalism. Okay. Same thing here. But these are great. And then there's this. And this looks like someone who's self-publishing and they don't know what they're doing. You do know what you're doing, love. You did it with that first image. So, you know, oh, and I forgot my disclaimer, as many people as you show your work to, that's how many opinions you'll get. So take what you like and leave the rest. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Your editorial work was better than what you've got on your homepage. But this one here, her skin is the same color as the tree on the right. I might lighten it a little or give her some highlights. Bring the shoulders down on the sloth, if that is a sloth. Give the panda bear some dangling legs and a more appealing face. Look at some, you know, it can be good to get reference material and then just paste it next to whatever you're doing, because these are all digital. And then I would get rid of most of the sketchbooky stuff. I'd get rid of this. And then have most of these full images, you know, most of them are horizontal. Maybe pull that off here. And then let's see, about me. And then here's the other thing. This image here, you're obviously a really good looking woman, but if I was an art director looking to hire and I saw that expression, I would not be tempted to hire you, because you're not looking very approachable. You look
Kind of like sassy.
kind of sassy, but also kind of pissed off. You know, take some new pictures and try and smile, or just, you know, smize with your eyes, as Tyra Banks used to say.
Yeah, conveying warmth is really important in that bio photo,
It really,
and
really,
approachability.
yeah, you got it.
Okay.
You look a little intimidating, because your expression isn't telling me anything except maybe, so what's up, you know, or I
Yeah.
don't know. And then the portrait, which I assume is a self-portrait, do one where you have the same style of hair and where it looks like the image that you're using, because that will inspire confidence. One of those C's that we spoke about earlier.
Mira, you have 2 minutes.
God, that's cruel. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Irena really quickly. Irena, I would really encourage you to get rid of all the black. Just have white. Have a menu across the top or on the side. These little thumbnails on the side are really dated. People don't care whether it's traditional or digital. What they care about is the quality. Put like with like. And then here some of these are repeating. It's really a bit of a mishmash, and there's just way too much stuff here. Images like this is like stuff that you did in school. And professionals are not really that interested in seeing stuff that you did at school. They want to see stuff that shows how brilliant you are. You know, this here is a lovely image. They don't care about the techniques. I would take this image, crop it, bring it into Procreate, and create a scene in the back where she's like, Jackie Black, is that, what's her name? Oh, Foxy
Brown.
Doesn't she look like a little from that era of the Foxy Brown movies?
Yeah, that's a really cool image. I think if you were to even take that image and just make it a PNG where you're clearing out the background, not even adding a background, but if you were to have that as your header image and then having your name at the top, that would be a really striking.
That would be fabulous, but I think it would be even better to do it with have it at the top and then also have it as an urban scene, you know, set it in Oakland or Baltimore or somewhere where there's, you know, a lot of Black people, and is showing the culture of those places, of people sitting outside the store playing music and, you know, doing the shopping. There's a great children's book, Young Cornrows Calling Out the Moon. Check that out. It's fabulous. It will really inspire you. You've mostly got portraits. And as I mentioned earlier, portraits are not going to cut it. And then, I mean, this is really, really high standard. This is fantastic, especially if you create a story with it and use it in your banner, like Larissa suggested. There's somewhere that you've got a whole bunch of pictures of yourself. But the problem is, oh, this is great too. This is, you know, I mean, it's hard to believe that the same person that did this, because this also looks like self-published. And I know it's fine for something like that, but big trade publishers are not going to pay you the big bucks that you want to get. You know, take out self-portrait art style challenge and, you know, call it the many faces of Mimi, you know, where, and then here, this one. So these are all supposed to be different, you know, a series of self-portraits. But the thing is, it's not the same person in all of them. Use the gridding technique that Larissa teaches and that I spoke about earlier. You know, these are much more similar because you copied and pasted those, and then you changed the hairdos. Have it come down to the shoulders and have different outfits and different earrings. Do that extra work because it'll really pay off. And then think about, where are these characters? You've got these sort of abstracted backgrounds, but where could they be? You know, that would make it just 10 times cooler. So Urania, I'm so happy, and this is lovely too. You've got a bunch that are similar to this. Put them together. And then you've got these great kind of cosplay characters. Put them together and do it like a gallery style, like the other ones we've been looking at, rather than making me have to go and click on the little icons. And then here you've got these two guys together. Oh, here I was thinking what would be great is to do a triptych, like 3 images across, where you've got these 2 girls holding hands. Just tweak that one of the 2 guys holding hands, and then do one of a heterosexual couple holding hands. You've only got 2 children's book images, and I'm going to stop after this. So I would make these eyes brown or even blue, so that they are a little more alive, and use like a bright white highlight and see what happens. So Dawn, I hope that, oh, and there's this one too, which is also really cute. So maybe do, they're really sweet, but the proportions are a bit weird. Come to Larissa's office hours and
Open
get
Studio
your,
Center. Yes.
do drawer over, get drawer overs. This is lovely too.
All right, Mira, I gotta cut you off.
You got to cut me off. I get it. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to come back. You can tell that I've got a lot to say.
I know, and I wanted to give you as much time as possible.
I know I went over. I'm sorry.
All right.
I
thank
did a
you.
keynote in Australia, and they literally had to drag me off for SCBWI.
Oh, no, I get it. I get it. Thank you, Mira, for taking the time to look at their websites. That was really helpful. I hope everybody else kind of learned something from watching other people's websites get critiqued.
Yeah, and I'm going to send that, 3 C's and suggestions
Okay, thank you.
document that I made you all.
Wonderful.
Hey, Irina.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna put that in the chat, you
Yeah.
said? Okay, fantastic.
Oh, well, I want to edit it because there's some boo-boos.
Okay, that's fine. You can, yeah, that's fine. Just as long as we can get that at some point. Doesn't have to be today.
And I also I'm going to do a really quick plug.
Yeah.
I want you all to come, wait until next week, but I'm going to do a low income sales link for the children's book, the Kidlit Palooza, which is our scholarship fundraiser. And it's full of editors, agents. I'm still hooking up the art directors. Larissa's in there, a bunch of fabulous people are in there. And there's a great illustration panel that's very career oriented.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, all the cool people are there. Why is my video off? Sorry. Okay, here I am. All right. Thank you, Mira, for that. I'm gonna try and get my video.
And we did start late. I didn't get the full 45 minutes, except I wouldn't know.
Sorry. Okay, well, just never enough time for doing anything, is there? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into doing a few critiques. And let's see, Chloe is here, awesome. And then Lori, I've got your artwork up too. I also wanted you guys to know that I won't be able to get, because there's so much information that I want to give you today, I will be doing more detailed critiques on your work tonight in the next day or two, so that you can kind of progress onto your finished illustrations. I had mentioned that before. Okay.
We're similar like that, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay. First off, let's see. Let's go. Oh yeah, I want to go to, let me go to Clip Studio. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. We're gonna go to okay, Chloe. All right. So here I gotta pull all these down really quick. All righty. Chloe, are you here?
Yes.
Hi. All right, you guys,
Hello.
I want you guys to meet Chloe. Chloe is my young student. She's our youngest student in this class. And I also had to share that she does comics and she sent me this. Really awesome. I'm going to stop sharing really quick because why can't I can't see it. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. So you can't even see it. Oh my God. I know. I have to get this so you can actually see it properly. All righty. There. Okay. It's she made this great comic that she printed, and she even learned the hard way about how to print books. And then if you don't, get the pages quite right, you gotta like reprint it and put it together again. So this is fantastic. I love it so much. Thank you for sending that to me, Chloe. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the other camera and then I'm gonna share my screen again. All right, so what I want to show you, Chloe is been working on this cover for her characters, Waylon the Wizard. So I love this. I think that you did a great job with your color and your characters. They have action, there's movement, there's intrigue, there's a story happening. You've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different characters, and you've got like some dynamic things happening in here with the one dragon on top of the castle tower, and then another dragon like hiding behind. I think these are all really great things. And then I love how you added the gradient color in the background and the clouds. You've got like a feeling of foreground, middle ground, background. That's really great. So I made some changes and I'm going to show you what I did. And I'm also going to submit individual files for your critiques. I will put them in the Google file folder so you will have access to them and you can see all the changes or the things that I did. And I will save them as a PSD file so that you can see it. No problem, Mira. This is the problem is just that we are educators and we want to help and we want to give so much information and then like there's not enough time. That's okay. No problem. All right. So what I want to show here is, let's see, I'm going to go through this folder here and I'm going to close all these. All right. All right. So the first thing, looks like I added some like nice thing. One of the things I thought was consider omitting the green. Oh, geez. Sorry. Consider omitting the green background, like the hill, for a better contrast of the dragon. Now it looks like this is like a castle tower and we have like an upshot of the tower because we can see underneath the rooftop. And so if that's supposed to be really high, then I'm not sure if like the green grass that's in the background is really close because you've got some kind of big lines that are drawn in there, like the grass lines. So I think that just omitting that would probably be a better, safer thing to do.
And more dramatic.
Yeah, there's a lot of open space here in the middle and it's the cover. So we don't want to have all this open space necessarily. So I'm going to show you how I adjusted it to kind of fix that. Because I think it would be better if you adjusted the characters. So then in terms of the perspective, I love that you are creating this dynamic look of the tower kind of at an angle and it looks like it's almost falling over, but I wanted to just kind of help you a little bit on the perspective. And I'm going to lower this down a little bit. So in terms of the perspective, like think of that castle tower as a cylinder and you can actually use, I know in Procreate, there are tools that you can create like concentric circles and squares and things like that. So in Clip Studio Paint and Photoshop, there are tools to do that too. But I also wanted to share how you can do that using the perspective ruler. Okay, so I'm going to lower that. And this is my first guide to you guys is whoops, let's go back here on this one here. So I'm going to increase this one. All right, so for my first tidbit for you is how to use the special ruler in Clip Studio. And you can do concentric rings or concentric circles in Photoshop, right? Or Procreate. But the main thing is in terms of perspective, if you are looking at something, and this is your eye level, this is your eyes, okay? Anything that's above your eye, you're going to see underneath, okay? Anything that's below your eyes, you're going to see the top of, okay? So this is the sound limiter. And the further up something goes away from you, the more deep that concentric circle becomes. It becomes more shallow as it gets closer to you. Whereas if it were all the way at the eye level, what happens is it actually just turns into a flat line. Okay. So if you were to hold up a glass or a candle or something, and you look at the rings, as the higher it gets above you, the more it becomes a circle. So in the photo, let's see, there we go. In Clip Studio, you're going to go to the ruler tab on the side. This is this ruler right here. And then you have all these different rulers. Now, what I'm going to use, and I just literally discovered this like before the beginning of the class, special ruler, okay? In special ruler, there are a bunch of different rulers. There's parallel line, parallel curve, multiple curve, radial line, radial curve, and concentric circle. So you want to use a concentric circle, and I have that here. Okay, so in Photoshop, in Clip Studio, when you, I'm going to make a new layer. Thank you for posting the Procreate version of that. You can create the concentric circle. It basically, you click and drag in, you can make it as wide or as long as you want. And then once you do that, you can change the angle at which it's at. Okay, now it doesn't matter if you don't do this right the first time, because you're going to be able to adjust it in the next step. So I'm going to click on the screen, and then this purple guide pops up. Now, in order for me to adjust this guide, I have to actually switch my tools. I'm currently on the ruler tool. I want to move to the object.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month.
What was that? Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, the object tool here, that's what you want to be on so that you can adjust this. And when you click on the concentric rings, these little nodes are going to pop up. Now, here's how you can adjust the width, okay, or the depth here, right? And then here is how you adjust the angle or the tilt of it. Now, once you have decided the length or the width, the depth, and you draw, then you have to switch back to your pencil tool or your brush tool, and then it will allow you the ability to create concentric circles wherever, but they're all going to be based on that same placement of the ruler. Now, when you want to move it, you're going to go back to, this is kind of a pain, but you're going to go back to the object tool and click on the guideline. And in order to create concentric circles that are kind of stacked on top of the other, see how there's a plus sign in the middle? If you click on the plus sign and you just drag that up, it will only stay on that axis, all right? If you want to move it anywhere else, all you have to do is click on any other part of the purple guideline, and it will move it around wherever you want. And then you can adjust the tilt. So if you needed to do like a castle like I did, then that's how you would do it. If you wanted to make your rings, let's see, stacked, right? Then you would have to continually move this. You have to move this line back and forth, and that will give you the stacked lines, and you can make them as big or as small as you want. All right, so that's how you do that. I'm going to delete this whole layer there. And so I've used the concentric rings here to create this kind of guideline, but also I wanted you to know that you can use that. you know, that idea of perspective, but it doesn't have to be totally stiff. Like you can use the guideline and create your guides, but you don't have to like use that as your final line. You can always adjust it, which I would recommend adjusting it to make sure that you're making it, you're putting a little bit more like of your freehand drawing aspect into it. Okay. So then what I did, let's see, I'm going to get rid of that. No, I'll keep that one. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust some things here. I liked your gradient. So I made a new gradient, that same color here. I'm going to add your clouds back in. I added some of the clouds. I just basically copied and pasted all of your clouds. And let's see here. I'm going to fill in. Actually, what I did was I hand drew another castle on top of that. So you can see how when I lower the opacity on that ruler, that I just hand drew it in and I made the lines a little bit more wobbly. And then I used the concentric rings to kind of follow, use it as a guide for the bricks. Okay. So that those are all following the same thing, and same with the top of the roof. And then what I did was I filled that in with the color, and then I did a couple of other things too. So I copied and pasted your dude here, and I moved him up a little closer to the middle of the page, not so close to the edge. You want to be very careful whenever you're drawing your characters, that when you have them super close to the edge of your page, you want to think about giving a little bit more space in between your characters and the edge of the page. It's like right here, both the ear and the wing are coming right off the edge, and we don't want that. Okay. So then what else did I do? I added some swooping lines and I made them white so that they're going to help direct the eye from where this guy is. And I put him and I adjusted him a little bit more. And I also changed the direction of his tail so that it'll kind of direct our eye to this little guy at the bottom. All right. So those are some of the things that I did adjusting just by copying and pasting your stuff and moving them around. Another thing that we talked, I did a little one-on-one with you, Chloe, just to kind of make sure you were okay on things. And one of the things I had asked you to do is kind of like in terms of the font, to take like a font and then create a handwritten font on top of it. And so your font that you've handwritten is really cute, but it's kind of off kilter and it's not really centered. So I wanted to show you two ways to do that, and or anybody for that matter. But so what I did was I basically just typed in the word, right? And you can use the text font, whichever program that you're using. And then what I did was I created that as a rasterized text. Okay. So I'll basically show you what I did. I did this. This is a text font. It's a text layer. You do this in Photoshop, you can't really alter it, but then what you can do is rasterize it, and rasterizing it here, which then creates it into just regular pixels. And then you can go and you can transform your text using your transform tools. So what I did was I used the mesh transformation, and then you can always,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Where do you rasterize?
Okay, up here up at the top, the menu, I'm sorry, the layer menu. You can do that on the layer menu here, and it has rasterize, and it's already rasterized right there.
Awesome. Thank you, darling.
And is it here too? No, it's not there. All right. So what I did was I rasterized it and adjusted it, and then just kind of changed it to look like that. Okay. Then what you can do is, if you want to keep that handwritten font, if you want to make it look more handwritten, then you just lower the opacity on that and you make a new layer, and you can either draw in around it, and then you can give it a little bit of wiggliness if you don't want it to be totally perfect. Or you could do something like, you could take a big brush that has a really No, not that one. I don't know which brush I'm going to use. Let's see. Let's try. That one's not the right one. Let's try. Yeah, that one's kind of fun. Okay. You could use a brush that is really big and thick. And you can use that as a guide, and you can follow your guide and put your lettering in like this. That way, the thing that the text font or the text tool is doing for you is it's creating the distance between the letters, and it's creating a consistency and evenness in the letters. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. So that's an option. But what I did is I just kind of kept it as it is, and then I added your other font down there, and then I added and the wizard. I love how you added that little wizard hat at the, in the font. And then I also added your name really big at the bottom instead of really tiny at the top. You know, you got to own this work that you've done. All right. Here's another way of creating handwriting text if you don't want to do any of that stuff. Okay. This is what I used to do when I was doing gigantic murals and I had to write the name of the school on the wall, and I couldn't like do it any other way. So what you can do is whatever word you want to write, you have to count the letters and the spaces of that word, and then turn each of those letters into blocks, like little squares. Figure out where the halfway point is, and then count the number of boxes on either side, or the number of letters on either side. Then you're going to create the space that you want your text to fit in. And then instead of writing the letters in it, you're going to divide it with that many spaces. Okay. So there's 3 spaces on one side, 3 spaces on the other. So I want it to be curved like this. So I put a halfway point and I make 3 spaces on the right, 3 spaces on the left. That way you're going to have the same amount of space and distance between all of your letters, and you can handwrite your texts however you want, but then try and keep it within the consistency of that space. So then if you want to give yourself even more guidelines, then you can use, you know, a ruler, or you can draw yourself a really thin line between the top and the bottom where you want the top and the bottom of those letters to go. And then just make sure that you have space between each of those letters. Okay. All right. So I hope that was helpful. I love what you did, Chloe. I would love to see you make some adjustments to this for this cover. This definitely makes it printable, I think. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to, and then I'm going to save this so you can have access to that. Okay. Lori, I didn't get a chance to go over your stuff last week, and I'm sorry, but I wanted to go over your stuff today. Okay, so I love that you've got these great colors. I think your composition is really nice, and I like that the spacing of everything. But what I thought would be more interesting is if instead of seeing the back of the dragon, that we see the front of the dragon. So I literally just did a 3/4 front view. I didn't change anything on your dragon because he's looking 3/4 rear. I just added the front. So I didn't add anything in terms of the silhouette other than I adjusted the feet, and
Right.
I made them holding up a book. So why don't they read together? And I'm going to just fix this here. Put that
That looks so
down
good.
there. Yeah, it's cute, right? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
really cute, it's a really cute image that you have going on here. It's really nice. So here we have another dragon tail. Let's use these dragon tails to direct our viewer's eye and keep it engaged. So I see that you're kind of creating an L-shaped composition here, but I don't want you to cut the tail off in the picture plane. So what I did was just expanded your picture plane a little bit, opened it up, and then included the tail, and then, you know, kind of curled it back. And now we have two tails kind of like next to each other, the mouse's tail and the dragon tail. And I think it's really cute. Okay.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, you did a nice job with that. It's really great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So, let's see. I have Ariana's up, but I think I want to make sure that I have enough time to tell you guys all the things that I want to do. So I'm just going to do 2 demos for now, but don't worry, we'll be, Eden and I will be going through the Google file folder and giving you guys feedback on your work. Okay. So today, what I want to do is give you really the bulk of the digital tools, how to utilize digital tools in terms of creating your illustrations. What I need to actually do is show you, and I don't have this up because I don't know why I didn't think of this, but I need to show you my process, and I'm going to give you kind of a sneak peek on something that I did for Disney. And I showed you in the Google file folder. I'm going to switch to that real quick. In the Google file folder, in the resources section, I had put a little Wakanda color comps, like what's it, a time lapse. And this was my, this is basically how I did my color comps for this. So I'm going to show you the finished piece, which I'm super excited about. I think it turned out really awesome. But I'm going to show you how I went from the color comp to the final, which is what you're going to be doing this week. So you're going to take your finished color comp, and then you're going to do kind of these next steps to bring it to the rendered form. So I'm going to stop that really quick. And then I'm going to go back to here. Let me go into, did not plan for this, but here it is. Okay. All right. So this is my finished piece, and I wanted to show you. You guys like it?
Yes, it's, I went, wow.
Thank you. I'm so excited by it. I think I was making, thank you, Selena. I did this thing yesterday. Well, I was really trying to make it to match the color comp, and I had done something that made me really excited with it. And I started like make these silly sounds, and my housemate's daughter was like, what is that? It sounds like a ghost. Anyway, okay, so this is what I did. All right, you can see how many layers are here. All right, there's just so many things here. I'm gonna close down all of these, and I'll show you the process. All right, so here's the process. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your color comp, whatever one that you do, and you're literally just gonna enlarge it. Okay, so you can see how rough and ugly and dirty this is, but you want to make sure that you when you make your canvas, where is my canvas, edit, you want to make sure that when you're creating your canvas, that's not the one I want to look at. I want to look at the resolution. Okay, so you want to make sure, and I said this at the very beginning of class, that you have a high resolution, at least 300 pixels per inch. Okay. And I'm making this 18 inches by 24 inches because I want it to be poster size, literally. But yours doesn't have to be that big. It can be, 8 by 10, especially if it's just going to be for your portfolio on the internet. You can even make it smaller, 5 by 7. But if you ever are wanting to print it, you might want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you're going to take your image. You're literally just going to blow it up to size to fit your canvas. And then what I did was I kind of like lowered the opacity of this so then I could start drawing my characters in. And what I did was I lowered my sketch. So I have my color comp here that I'm going to go back and check every now and then, but I have my sketch on a separate layer. And what I did was I started to, oh shoot, did I get rid of all the line drawings? I might've done that already. What I did was, yeah, okay. I got rid of the lines, but I did cleaned up versions of my characters. So I cleaned up everything as best as I could. And then what I did was I made selections for each of my character, and I kind of flattened this for my own sense. I didn't actually save it so that you guys could see all the process. But what I did was I created a really rough layer of color. And then on top of that, I created more details of what the color would be. And I rendered that. And let's see, I've got, okay, that's fine. That's fine. And then I added a little bit of glow to Shuri's panther gun things, whatever they're called. And then I merged everything down and I flattened those layers. And you can merge your layers when you are getting a little crazy with your layers. You can always merge some of your layers. They're in the layer menu. you're going to see merge selected layers here. All you have to do is select the layers that you want to flatten, and you can flatten them together. So I wanted to have all of my characters on a separate layer because I was going to do some adjusting. I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. Also, those are my characters. So then the background, what I did was I basically took this, which is super pixelated, you can see. And I put it underneath, but then what I did was I adjusted it because I still wanted it to fit with my composition. So I adjusted the eyes a bit, and then I blurred it because I don't want it to be really hard. I want it to be kind of soft. So, and you probably already know this, but in the filter menu up at the top, you have a place where you can blur things. So there's blur, blur strong, Gaussian blur, and you can click on any of these and it'll have a little menu that pops up, and you can change the strength of the blurredness, so to speak, in there. Okay. So that's what I did with that. And then underneath there, I had my gradient layer of color, and you probably already know how to do gradients, but in Clip Studio Paint, just going to show you guys this again. You have this option. I'm going to make a new layer here. You have all these great options for gradients here. You also have a great option here for the circular gradient. So I'm going to choose blue here, and then a lighter blue there. And you can see that it adjusts the color there. If in Clip Studio, if I wanted to add another color to my gradient, all I'd have to do is click on this little line here and other nodes pop up. In order to change those colors, you can see I can change the color, and I can click on, let's see, I'll change, this one is currently selected. So if I click on that one, and I can change, I don't know why. Okay, I don't know exactly how to change those, but you can change them. Okay, if you want to delete them, all you have to do is click on it and then drag it off. Click on it and then drag it away, and it'll delete it. Okay, so I'm going to adjust that there. And then here you can choose whether or not you want the shape, and I want a concentric circle. So I just do that, and then it does there. And you can also click on, yeah, do you have a question?
No, it's just woo. It's
Woo, I know, it's crazy, right? Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. All right. Okay, so then I had that, and I'm going to put my characters back up. And some of the other things that I did, I have there we go. I have a lot of layers up here. All right, I had my Dora Milaje warriors, and they literally are copy and pasted. I just drew one, and copied them and pasted them. I added shadow to one, and then I copy and pasted that kind of shadow onto all of them. That's not a layer. I have a kind of a light layer on top of them where they have a glow coming from behind, and there's my drawing right there. So that's what I would do, is I would make a cleaned up drawing, and then I would color everything in. Okay. And then the other things that I had done was I made some adjustments to this. So I'm going to show you a little bit of this, how to do this, but I have a 2 different correction layers, and I talked about this in the Open Studio session, but you can always adjust your image up here in the new correction layer area. Okay, so when you make an adjustment to your image, it's going to apply to all of the image and all of the layers below, right? So if I go, yeah, I did that. All right. What I did here was I made a shadow layer, okay? Because looking at my comp, remember my comp was really, really dark, and I wanted their feet to be really dark. So I didn't have to paint them darker. All I did was create a correction layer where I lowered the luminosity. Okay, so if anything you're painting is not dark enough, you want to make it darker or you want to make it lighter, you can make a correction layer and adjust it here. So you can see I've got the correction, the luminosity is really dark. Now, the other thing that I did was I only wanted it to be on the bottom of these characters. So I want you to notice here, there is a little mask layer here. Now, every time you make a new correction layer, there's always going to be, I'm going to put a new one up here. Every time you make a new correction layer, there's always going to be something that pops up next to it, and that's going to be a little white layer here, and that's literally your mask. So you can, whatever you do on that layer, you can decide what you want it to affect by using this mask, okay? So if I wanted to say, all right, I'm going to adjust this to only be black and white, it's going to affect everything at the bottom because this is at the top of my layer stack. Now, let's say I wanted everything to be black and white except my 3 characters. Well, this is how you do it, okay? One of the reasons why I create selections for each of my characters in my new folder down here, I have them all in one folder. Where did my folder go? See now, I should name my folder, okay? Characters. I have so many layers. And another thing I can do to organize this is I can choose my color for this, and I will be able to see where it is on my layer stack all the time. Now, why I like to create separate layers for each of my characters is because I like to use them as selections. Now look here, okay? If I click on the thumbnail, okay, my cursor is on the thumbnail right here. Okay, if I click on the thumbnail of that layer and I press Control or Command in Mac, what that does is it creates an automatic selection of everything on that layer. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my black and white layer and I'm going to say, I want everything to be black and white except this character. So in Photoshop, it's a little bit different, but Clip Studio, what you have to do is delete this area from the mask. And if you press clear up here on the menu, delete, or right down here in my selection menu, I press delete, it deletes that from the mask. And now you can see that I have a silhouetted black silhouette of my character on that layer, okay? So this is where your digital tools are really amazing. If you can learn how to create selections and use masks to make those selections, you can alter literally anything on your image, okay? So I'm gonna make a new layer up here, or a new group, and I'm gonna make this my demo layer so that when I'm done, I can just destroy this and it won't be a part of anything. So now I can go back to, I'm gonna go back to Okoye here. I'm going to click on her, press Control, and click on that layer. And now she's selected, and I can go back up to that layer on the correction layer, click on the little mask there and press clear, delete. And now that's all adjusted. Okay. And I can do the same thing for Shuri. Okay. Delete that, go back up there. Too many layers. And then clear that, okay? So those are ways that you can use selection layers or selection tools, okay?
Could you make it all blue in the background in one fell swoop?
Oh, and what I did is I could totally do that. Like I could adjust this hue. So you're going to have a little menu right here. And then when you click on that, it allows you to change the color of things, the hue up at the top. So I can, if I wanted, let's say like I turned this into Disney and they're like, oh no, we don't want the background to be blue. We want the background to be some other color. Then I could easily do that without having to, edit anything other than that layer. All I'd have to do is just remove my selection of because otherwise my Dora Milaje warriors in the background are going to be affected too. Okay. But you can lighten up, darken anything. change the saturation of something. You can change the hue of it. Like that's pretty cool, but that's kind of what I already have. It's just not as blue. Okay, so that's where that works out. All right. Oh, I was going to do yours, Sarah, too, but I'm going to have to wait and do that later. Okay, so one of the things, this is one of the things that you want to do when you're taking your rough and you're moving on to color is I would suggest that you take your drawings, clean them up, okay? And then you can use the perspective rulers or the guides to create let's see, that's not what I wanted. Hold on one second. Oh. Yeah, you can use perspective rulers to create guides. I'm going to do this real quick. Make a new layer. Okay. Under perspective, under rulers here, perspective. Okay. So you can use in Clip Studio, you can create your perspective ruler by putting where your horizon level is. Okay. And then the second time you touch it, it's going to give you another layer. Actually, I don't like doing it that way. I like doing it up here better. Okay. So under layer, is it a layer? Yeah. Layer, you go to ruler, and then you can create a perspective ruler. Okay. So that'll give you a place where you can put perspective. I'm actually going to do this on Sarah's really quick. Okay. So just as a quick demo. Okay. So let's say Sarah's got, I know Sarah's got a double whammy today because she already had her website looked at. All right. So we're going to go to ruler, create perspective ruler. I'm going to put, let's put, it looks like you got like 1 point perspective happening here. So I'll put 1 point. Okay. So now the ruler comes up here. I'm going to use, it's on objects. So when I move the, I click on it and I'm going to move this up here. All right. Now these nodes, there are these little nodes. Ooh, let's see here. Okay. This thing moves the whole ruler. And then there are these other nodes. These are your vanishing points. Okay. Your vanishing points you can move here. Or, oh, that's just one. Okay. Oh, there we go. That was in the wrong place. This one has a node. It's all the way down here. I'm gonna move this up. Now, the reason why these nodes are there is so that you can actually take your drawing and align these nodes with your drawing. Now, it's kind of at the wrong angle. So this node moves it up and down without changing the vanishing point. I can move this vanishing point here so that this line aligns with your drawing. I can also move this one over here to see if it works down here. And it doesn't look like it's lining up, so I might adjust it a little bit more. But what I actually would recommend is having the vanishing point right at your character's head. The reason why is because now all lines that you draw in your background, like the bookshelf, anything that's going in perspective are all going to be visual elements that lead the viewer's eye to your main character. Okay. So I'm going to do that. Also, if you adjust these other nodes, it totally changes the placement of the vanishing point. Okay. So I want to do that. All right. So it creates a new ruler. Okay. I'm going to draw on that ruler. See, it's selected on the ruler right now. I'm going to click on this layer and I'm going to draw on the ruler and I'm going to actually change it to blue watercolor. And oops, I have to switch to drawing. Every line that I draw is going to be it's either going to be vertical because it's going to be either vertical, horizontal, or it'll go to that vanishing point. Okay. So what I'll do is real quick, make and what I usually do is I try to make my lines cross over, like you see how they're really, really big. They're crossing past the point. That way I can make sure that I'm drawing my lines just the right way. Okay. So now we've got some like shelvings down here, shelvings down here, and then we have some like vertical elements with the trees. We can, those don't have to be completely straight, but you can add those elements in there. And you can use this as a guide. Now to turn this off, you up here, there's a snap to special ruler. If I want to start drawing on this without making it snap to the ruler, I just click on that. And now I can draw and hand draw things in. Okay. You can hand draw things in. Another thing that you can do is you
I
can
love, how do you unsnap it?
right up in here at the top of the menu,
Okay,
you're going to see these rulers.
okay,
Snap to ruler, snap to special ruler. Now we are using a special ruler. So this is always going to be clicked on if you're using a ruler. What you want to do is click here, snap to special ruler, click it off. So it's selected. When it's selected, it's blue. When it's not, it's gray.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right. All right, so that's how you do the perspective ruler. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to do you're going to take your rough, you're going to do your cleanup version drawings of it. You're going to try and do it as best as you can so it's nice and clear. Okay, and then you're going to begin the painting process. And what I would recommend is, since we're doing this digitally and you're not doing this traditionally, you don't have to put everything on one layer. What we're going to do is something that I call, it is called non-destructive. Okay. Oh, I gotta go through that. Okay. So non-destructive method is when you are creating ways of, you're not destroying anything that you draw. Okay. So let's say if I was to do this sphere and lighting and shading. All right. Each of these is on its own layer. And if I go to the move layer tool up here, you can see how each of these is on its own layer. Now, what this gives you the ability to do is it allows you even more control over your final illustration. Let's say I made this character, let's say this is a character, whatever, this is an asset. And let's say I need to make this character bigger. That's not a big deal because, I need to go on that layer. So I go to object, and if I click on select layer and I click on this one, it will automatically go to that particular layer in the layer stack. It's only going to move whatever is whatever selected. So obviously when you're creating things on a different layer, you have more control. Okay. Also in Clip Studio, you can change the color of your background. Your bottom layer is called paper, and you can change the color of that to whatever you want. You just click on this little thumbnail here and it allows you to change the color to whatever you want, which is nice. I'm going to go back to this kind of warm color here. All right, so I suggest that you make a background layer where you're going to have all of your background elements on. I have like a kind of the tabletop, and then I have this object here. Now, what I'm going to do is I want this tabletop to be only within the confines of this gray square here. So I'm going to do what I call a clipping mask or a clipping layer, and I'm going to clip to the layer below. And now up here on the layer menu up at the top, and you can do this in Procreate too. You can clip your layers to the bottom layer, and what that does is it only will show whatever is, it'll only show the pixels aligned with whatever pixels are on the bottom layer. Okay. So when I go to move object and I move this, you can see that I can still move this around, but it's only going to show up within the area of the gray rectangle because that's the layer that I have selected below. Okay. And when, so I like that, that's really great. Okay. So another thing that I want to talk to you about is, in terms of brushes, how to use brushes to render your illustrations and your images. Now, obviously you've been practicing and exploring different brushes, but what I want to really, convey to you is to use the appropriate brush for the job, and that big brushes are a really great way to create soft gradients of tonal value changes and adjustments from light to dark. And if you do that with bigger brushes rather than smaller brushes, you'll be able to get a more even flow of lights and darks, okay? So the first thing is talking about brushes and how they work in terms of how brushes work, okay? So in your brush tool area, and I know Procreate has the ability to do this, you can change the hardness of a brush or the softness of a brush, I think. So you can see, I'm going to make a new layer here, sorry. So I don't adjust anything. Okay. So you can see how it's really soft. It makes it more like an airbrush. You can create more hardness. In Clip Studio, there's a stabilization tool. I use this one for real on the airplane when I was doing my illustration work, because it's hard to draw on a bumpy airplane ride. Okay, so what this does is you can see there's a lag in that. And what this does is allows your lines to be a little bit smoother. The higher stabilized it is, the more it's going to affect the line. The lower it is, the less it affects it. You can see how janky my line is now. It's really crooked. Even though I'm trying to make a really smooth line, it still has some dents in it. So if I wanted to make that a little bit smoother, I could increase the stabilization, can continue to increase the stabilization. That's going to affect it too. Okay. In terms of getting the color down basic, like your basic colors, I would opt to just using either the lasso fill. I'm going to clear this layer up here. By the way, you can clear a layer up on Clip Studio Paint just by pressing delete. And I'm going to still use this layer. All right. Using the lasso fill tool is a great way to create your solid colors. You can also use the paint bucket tool, and you can draw using a selection. Okay, you can draw using a selection. Another thing about the selection tool is know that you have possibilities with the selection tool. In the selection tool, you can add to your selection by clicking on this menu here, plus. You can subtract from your selection by clicking on the minus tool here, okay? That will remove a selection, okay? This is a great way to create sections of your artwork so that you can fill in, and then obviously you use the paint bucket tool, or you can click on the color on the top of your screen and then drag it and drop it into the selection in Procreate. But then what that does is it gives me another area that I've selected. Now, using flat colors is what comic artists do a lot of, but you can still do this in illustration. The reason why I recommend it is because of this, because of the easy way. If you want to make adjustments to something and you don't want to like go outside of the lines or worry about anything, all you have to do is a couple of things, one or two things, okay? You can either have that layer selected and control click on the thumbnail, and it will allow you, it will give you that selection again, okay? Or, okay, you can use the magic wand tool, and I have in Clip Studio Paint, there's different options. You can have it refer to editing layer only, refer to all layers. If I have it refer to all layers and I click on the white part, you can see that now it's only getting the white selection here, okay? I'm going to keep it on add to selection, and when I add this little selection here, now that's selected. Now, other things you can do in the selection tool is you can change the tolerance of this, meaning, and we talked about just this, the more tolerant you are of other people, the more you're accepting, the less tolerant of other people you are, the less accepting you are. So if you increase the tolerance on this, I'm going to deselect this real quick. If I increase I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move this over here on top of there. Okay. Now, if I say increase the tolerance, these are both really they're the same hue. So by increasing the tolerance, what that does is it's selecting more of that hue Okay, but if I lower the tolerance and I select this, you see it's only going to select that small area. And you can also see how there's kind of a remnant from the previous one before. All right, I'm going to get rid of that layer. Delete. Okay. So in terms of talking about brushes and using the proper brush for the tool, you can, I would recommend using big brushes for, doing big shading, lighting, things like that. Here's a big soft one. I'm going to only do let's say I'm only going to do this layer here. So I'm going to press Control, click on that, and now I can just paint that light or dark. Paint this light, paint that dark on the other side. Okay, so those are things that you can do with the selection tool. All right. Going back up and then using big brushes and selections. So using big brushes are really a good idea for creating shading, lighting and shading. All right. Masks. I showed you masks down here. There's another way that you can create masks, which is in the quick execute quick mask. Okay. I haven't actually done this yet. Is this the right one? Okay. Do this. No, I don't want to do that. Let's just do, we've done the masks. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna do that really quick, but I think I've done this in the past where, yeah, I'm not gonna work on that right now. Okay. Clipping mask. All right, I did talk about clipping mask. Okay, texture overlays. All right, texture overlays. This is great. Let's say you want to do something that's got a lot of texture in it and you only want to put texture on one particular thing. Okay. First of all, I want to let you guys know that there is a texture. You guys have access to my texture library here. Okay. I'm going to go back. Okay. This is available to you and all you have to do is it's going to be in this links shared in class. There's a texture library for digital painting right there. All you have to do
Where is there?
there in
Did you
the,
just post something in the chat?
yeah, sorry, here in the Google file folder.
I'm just seeing your screen right now.
Oh, sorry. You're not seeing Clip Studio. Okay, let me share the screen. Share screen. Okay. In the Google resources file folder, there is a links shared in class. Click on that. And that's where the link is. I'm going to go ahead and just click on that link and share it with you guys. Okay. Here, share, copy link, putting in the chat. Okay. Oh, why is it not working?
Yeah, nothing's showing in the chat.
I know. I don't know why it's not sharing. Okay. Copy.
Yeah, nothing ever came through.
I know. Here we go. I'm going to try it again. There.
There
Okay.
you go.
Now, all you have to do is click on one of these. You don't even have to download it. I'm waiting for this to open up, get more pixels. It's kind of pixelated right now. I don't know why it's so pixelated. Let's try this one here. All you have to do is just do a screenshot of it. Okay. And you can drop it in to your, you can just paste it on a new layer. I'm going to paste it right here. Where'd it go? I didn't show, there it is. It's like not fast enough for me. Okay. So you can create your text. Now this is great because you can actually change the color of it. If you wanted to use this for, creating actual, not just textures and affecting the color, but if you wanted to actually change the color of this to, and use this as like maybe the shirt of your character or the sky in your background, all you have to do is this. You just have to do a correction layer on top of it. Okay. And you can make an adjustment to that correction layer. So let's say you like this texture, but you don't like the color. you can change the color of it in your hue saturation layer. Now you can see how it's affecting everything, and it's kind of a little bit weird, but you can change it up there, okay? And then what you can do is, let's say you only want it to affect that layer, right? You only want it to affect that texture. So you create that as a clipping mask. You make that, clip it to the layer below, and now you can see that it's only affecting that particular layer, okay? Then you can like literally cut and paste into like, you know, a character's shirt or a sky or whatever. Let's say you don't want to make any adjustments to this and you want this to be forever blue and green. Then all you have to do is merge these two layers together, okay? I'm going to merge these two layers together by selecting them both. I'm going to merge selected layers, okay? So now I don't have to worry about that mask. I've got this layer is lovely blue and green. Now let's say I want to make my sphere blue and green. I'm going to drag this down on my layer stack to right on top of the ball, right? And now I'm going to set that as a clipping mask to that ball right there. Ta-da! Okay, now I can also still adjust this. Let's say I don't like where that texture is. I can move that texture around so it's like a better place, okay? I can also adjust it if I want the texture to be more, my God, it almost looks like a marble ball or whatever, okay? You can adjust it. Let's say, okay, so that's kind of cool, right? These are fun things that you can do. All right, let's say you want the texture only, you don't want the color, okay? Then what you have to do is, I'm going to bring that back. What you want to do is you want to make this black and white, okay? So we're going to make this black and white up at the layer stack. We're going to create this black and white in the new correction layer. We're going to adjust this, right? We're going to correct this. So I love my hue saturation slider. I'm going to get rid of the saturation right here. So now everything is black and white, right? Because it's affecting everything below. I can also lighten this up a little bit. Okay. Can lighten this up. Say okay. And then let's say I only want this to affect that bottom layer. So remember, I'm going to clip that to the layer below. And now I like it exactly as it is. So now I'm going to merge those selected layers. Merge selected layers. All right. Now let's say I want this to affect all my image. I want everything to look as though I traditionally painted it, even though I totally did not. I digitally painted everything. I'm a cheater. I'm gonna do this, okay? I'm going to create this layer top. I'm gonna make this a multiply layer. And by setting it to multiply, now it's creating this, it's not opaque anymore, it's transparent. It's too dark. I don't want it to affect my color. So what I can do is I can lower the opacity of that so it's a little bit lighter. And now you can see that there's some texture in there, okay? It's still going to darken it up a little bit, but another thing that I can do is I can also, the more white there is on this texture, the darker, the more gray areas there are on the texture, the more it's going to affect the color. So what I might do is in my correction layer right here, I'm going to change the value of this so that it has more white and less dark. So what I'm doing is, this is my midpoint here in the levels. I'm adjusting this, the mid gray, I'm making it over here closer to black. So now there's a lot more white and there's a lot less black. But if I bring that there, I'm going to compress the blacks. Okay. Do that. And now it's really, really light. Okay. I'm going to merge. I'm going to set that as a clipping layer, merge those selected layers. Okay. And now when I bring it down, I can keep it on top of everything and I can multiply that. And now you can see that it's a lot lighter. And I'm getting some of that subtle texture on there. And I can use free transform to just make this right on top of the area that I want it to be on. Okay. And now, ooh, look, it looks like I painted something, traditionally, whatever, but I didn't. Okay. Okay, we got a few minutes left. I want to make sure I'm doing y'all good. Okay. We talked about correction layers, we talked about merging visible layers, layer blending modes. Okay, so layer blending modes. Well, this is the other thing that I wanted to show you. I'm going to get rid of this thing. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do a quick illustration here. I'm going to do a sky, and I'm going to draw. I just use my lasso fill, and I made a green hill, but I want my green hill to be on a separate layer so that I can adjust this color if I want to. I can change it up if I want to. And I'm also going to clip it to the layer below, make a clipping layer. And now that's a lovely hill, but I can still move it wherever I want to. Okay. I'm going to make a tree and some leaves. Now, if I want the leaves to be in front of the tree, I just have to move my layer stack. So it's a little bit higher. So my leaves are on top of my tree. Okay. I'm going to draw a character. Okay. I drew a little character right here. It took me too long to draw this character. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a lasso fill. And so I have this one character on one layer. Now I made a selection here that I don't want. Okay. In Clip Studio, when you use the lasso fill, okay, you can use it to paint. You can also use it to remove. Okay. All you have to do is click on the instead of the color, you click on the clear. Okay. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use that again. Click here. And it's literally, oh, I'm not on the right layer. There you go. It's literally the same thing as using the selection tool, but then deleting it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, oh my God, I have 6 minutes. All right. I'm going to lock this layer. Locking the transparent pixels in this layer allows me to paint on this character and only this character. All right. So I'm going to choose some colors real quick and paint this girl in. Remember, you want to use, oh, I forgot to delete that part. That's okay. Another thing that you can do using the paint bucket tool is you can use the paint bucket tool to fill in. Let's see, I'm going to take this color here and fill that. And I'm going to give her some yellow shorts. Or little green shorts, whatever. And then I'm going to erase this here. And then I'm going to give her dark hair. Okay, I'm going to lock the pixels again. Okay, and then big brush. Oh, it's too dark. Make this a little like this. Okay. Oops. Okay. Alrighty. So there's my girl running. Okay. I've got some clouds. I've got my character line. If I want to change the character line, if I don't like it black and I want to make it brown, so it's not as dark, I can take that character line. You probably already know this, but I can lock the pixels on that layer and I can just fill that line in with the paint bucket tool and it'll change the color of that line art. So it's not as prevalent. Okay. All right. Here's where we're going to do some lighting and shading real quick. All right. In this layer, I'm going to do some lighting and shading. First, I'm going to do a light. I'm going to like set a light layer. Okay, what should I do here? I'm going to merge. Oh, this is what I want to do. Okay. You can merge the selected layers, like I said before. You can merge visible layers. That's basically going to flatten everything. But what I want to do is I want to merge the visible layers to a new layer. So I'm actually going to get rid of this color here. I'm going to merge. Now the only thing that's visible is my little artwork here. So I'm going to merge the visible layers because I don't want to compress them. I still want to be able to use my selections on each of those layers at some point. I'm going to merge those to a new layer. And what it's going to do is, ta-da, it's made a new, it's compressed all those layers into one. So now I have two. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this a couple times. One, and this is kind of what you could do in your color comps. I'm going to duplicate that layer, duplicate it again, duplicate the layer again. Okay. And now I can move these. Now I have 4. Oops, that one's still there. Okay. And I'll duplicate it one more time. Okay. And I'll turn that one off. Oops. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. There we go. Okay. Now this is where I was saying, and we have 2 minutes left. Oh my God. Okay. Let's say you don't like the colors of these. You want to adjust these. You want to try new colors. Remember, you can always do correction layers up here. But what I want to do is I'm going to do a light and shadow. Okay. So layer, I'm going to make a correction layer and going to make this super bright. And I'm also going to make it a little bit saturated. And I'm going to change it so it's a little bit warmer. Okay. Now, I've made that really light just on this one here. I'm going to clip this to that layer here. Now, if I want, I'm going to use this as my light layer, and I'm going to actually paint on my mask here. Not the layer, but I'm going to paint on the mask. I'm going to use a brush, big brush here. Let's use this one here. And actually what I'm going to do is, yeah, I don't want everything to be light. I only want portions of it to be light. So on my mask, it's showing everything. I want to delete everything and then paint the light in on top. So on my mask, I'm going to delete it. And I basically went up here, and now you can see how my mask turned from white to black by pressing delete. And now when I paint on my mask, I can use whatever color I want. I can use a brush. Now, when I do this, I can paint in the areas where I want everything to be light. Like on my girl here, let's see, I only want the tops of the leaves here to be light. And I want a little bit of light on the hillside. Another thing that I can, yeah, that's what I can do. Okay. Let's say I want to make a shadow layer. I can do the same thing, but I'm going to make this one darker. Okay. So I'm going to make a new correction layer. And I know we're almost done. Okay. This time I'm going to make it darker. I'm going to increase the saturation, and I'm going to make this one a little bit cooler. Okay. Oh my God. 501. Okay. I'm going to delete. I know. I'm going to take this mask. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to paint on top of it with my brush. And now everything that I paint is going to be darker. So I have a shadow. I can create shadows on everything. If I combine that with my light layer, then I have instant light and instant shadows. Okay. This is really rough and dirty and ugly, but that's one way for you to create lights and shadows in a really easy way. Okay. Questions? Lots of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see your finished pieces of work next week. If you want to come to Open Studio sessions, I would definitely recommend you do so. If you need help with your work, please let me know. You can email me. Yeah, when you're painting on a correction layer, does it matter what color your brush is? If you're using a mask, it doesn't matter. It actually only registers the value of it. So it's only looking at darks and lights. So if you want to change something and you want to make it like just a little bit softer, you can change it to gray. I didn't even tell you that. That's even more powerful, is you can adjust the softness of the correction layer by using gray instead of black or white. Is there an Airtable link for August studio sessions? Oh God, no, not yet. I will do that. Next week, we're gonna have Love is Wise is coming back, and they're gonna look at some of your finished pieces and give you guys some feedback. And that's gonna be really, really fun, but please, please, please come to Open Studio Sessions if you need help with your stuff. You will be having access to Open Studio Sessions for the entire month of August. Okay, the entire month of August. So even though the class is ending next week, you still have access to me and even Mira, who's going to come and give you feedback on your work. So even if you didn't finish your work this next week, do try to, though, because Lovis is going to be here. If you still need help with it, you have the rest of the month of August. I love you all. Thank you for bearing with me, and thank you for bearing with Mira too. We love you so much. We want to give you all the information.
It's totally true. It's totally true.
Okay, you guys, I'll stay behind for another minute or two. If you guys have any questions, you need me to fix anything. Thank you, Eden.
Yes, I was gonna say I updated a ton of links on that, and I cleaned up that sheet, the links in the resource folders, and that's gonna have a ton of Procreate stuff. I unfortunately can't come to the Open Studio Fridays because I work on Fridays, but I am gonna be around tomorrow. So if somebody has like a pesky Procreate question or they just need help with their work, please just message me on Discord. I will be checking my Discord pretty much all day tomorrow, kind of looking out for anybody who might need any additional help.